Welcome back to Grace to Endure. In this video, I am announcing and explaining in a brief overview the book that I just wrote called Daniel Chapter 8, Understanding Daniel Chapter 8. If you type that in on Amazon, you will be able to find it. I want to explain for the rest of this video why I am so insistent that every Christian know about the abomination of desolation. What is it? What does the scripture say is about to happen on this earth? And why is it so important that we know? Well, the Bible describes this same time frame as being the time of the great apostasy, the turning away from faith like never before. People in our churches will be turning away left and right. People that we thought were Christians side by side will be turning us in because they disagree with us so much. They will think we are so wrong. No doubt they will call us all kinds of names and accuse us of many sins. We need to be prepared for that. And I believe the only way we're going to be prepared is with Scripture. I think Scripture is God's grace to us. Jesus said in Matthew 24, verse 15, this: "So when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by the prophet Daniel standing in the holy place," and in parentheses it says, "let the reader understand." So we know that the way that we need to get understanding about the abomination of desolation is to go to the book of Daniel. We need to find all of the passages that talk about the abomination of desolation, and we need to read what comes first. If we know what happens beforehand, I think this will be God's grace and clarity that what we are looking at is a lie. The Antichrist will do signs and wonders in such great number and such magnitude in the heavens themselves. He will tell lies about God, lies about the heavens, lies about the angels, and they will seem true. It will seem as though he has proof. And it will seem that he's God. He will die and raise from the dead. He will expose Babylon and all of their evil schemes, all of their murders that they did through sex, sorcery, or medication. That's the word for sorcery. They will use medication. They will use money and murder. All of these things will be exposed by 10 leaders of some sort and the Antichrist. It will make him seem like he is God himself come to save humanity. The whole world will believe it, except for the elect. And I believe that the way that we do not fall for it is Scripture itself. And that is why I have spent so much time really going verse by verse in this particular book, explaining and showing and asking questions. Every single page is a new question. There's 30 questions. Each question I give a biblical answer for, and I underline certain parts that you really need to pay attention to. And then I give an explanation. And then you move on to the next page for a new question. I tried to make it so very simple. I actually had teenagers go over it and make sure that it was simple enough to understand. I am wanting every Christian, no matter how long you've been saved, at least to have a pretty good understanding. Maybe not a total understanding, but enough of an understanding that when the abomination of desolation happens, every Christian will be able to recognize it and say, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Even though everybody is saying I'm accusing me of sins and saying all these things because I won't go along with it, they will be equipped with Scripture, specifically from the book of Daniel, so that they know what the abomination of desolation is, because they will know the events that happen leading up to it. That's why I think it's so important. I think if we know the events to look for, that will be God's grace to recognize the imposter that is on his way. Who knows how close this is from happening? But because Babylon seems to be here, I used to be saying a year ago that I thought Babylon was still very much in its mysterious form. I definitely think Babylon has taken a much more prominent role on a world scale. I absolutely believe that they are starting to even get exposed. So this is a really important thing to be paying attention to. I also find it quite ironic that the day that I had set to announce my book, things are happening between the West and the Persians. It is important that we know what Daniel chapter 8 says about the West and the Persians. We need to know what happens after that. If we know the signs to look for after the West and the Persians do things, have wars, then we will be able to tell, oh, this is exactly what Daniel 8 says. And so we need to be mindful of what to do next.